I met Starker for the first time at a show we played together with his group, Triple R. He speaks and is exactly how he raps, quick and to the point. He released a record recently, Living Type Dangerous, Volume 1, North Face Nace. Not only is he a sick artist, but he is also a father and a legendary New York hustler. Anytime I get to spend with him is a good time.
You know, maybe it makes sense to other people more than others. I don't know how you feel about it, but to be making music with this like human always like
watching.
Yeah, or in the back of your mind.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, what is that like for you? Do you feel like to like being an artist while being a father?
Well, being an artist for me was something to show my son as soon as he was like, you know, like mentally cooperating with us. Like I wanted him to know, like, this is what I do. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what I do and you could do it too. And it comes in many forms. And, you know, like, look, if it's not music, Poppy, it's fucking, I paint, you know, if it wasn't painting, it's just graffiti and just having good penmanship, which I'm dealing with him right now in school. And just I'm watching movies with him, you know, just being patient with him and trying to introduce him to not just one form of art, but like all of it. So it's the thing that I try to have in common with him as opposed to something else. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like if we both could get along with some common ground that has to do with art, I know me and him could like, from there it's easier, because like for instance, you know, he goes to school, he's like good at math, I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, I'm horrible at math, bro. Like there's certain things that he's good at that I'm not, and then it's like with this art thing, it's like, I see he has an interest in it in some way, so like when he sees that I'm involved in certain things, maybe off the bat, he's not necessarily trying to lean into it too much, but when I leave him alone, I see him come back and he's like, you know, I see his interest in like the way they draw the Fairly Odd Parents, you know? So, you know, because when you were little, there were certain cartoons that you would watch and you would want to like, I would want to at least pay attention to the ones that were drawn better than the other ones, or like, I like Chuck Jones and Looney Tunes, specifically when Chuck Jones would draw it, so like. Hell yeah. That's what art is for me, at least between me and my son, and then as far as like making music, I'm very careful about what I let him hear. I don't let it stop me from expressing myself. Right.
Like, you're not censoring yourself off rip, but also there's a double standard where like you don't necessarily want him to hear your famous ad-libs and stuff like that.
These things like that I try to keep and like far from his reach. He doesn't even know how to get that far down my catalog. He sees what he sees on YouTube, and then it's like, you know, like I'm very picky on which one I showed him, so.
Respect. Has he seen you perform?
On YouTube.
On YouTube.
Not in real life. He's never made it past the security or anything like that.
You're not helping him out? Nah. He's like, yo, Pop.
You're gonna have to figure that one out.
Respect, yeah. My daughter saw me play for the first time when we did this free show with Popular Front. I was really curious, because I have another friend has a young son as well, and he's like a singer in a hardcore band that's like maybe even like a scarier hardcore band than Show Me the Body is, like, you know what I mean? And he's like, yo, like my son has not seen me play because like I don't want to like freak him out. So I was like, I wonder what my daughter's gonna do when she watches us do the thing, and and she was pretty nonchalant. She was like maybe confused, but like
not even bothered.
Not bothered. I mean, like there's like you know, there's like 1,000 kids like beating each other up.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, the music's at a high volume.
What the hell? You know what I mean? She's maybe trying to get my attention sometimes, being like, she's like, do you see this happening? Do you see these idiots? So yeah, but it could be. It definitely. I was nervous for that, but there's nothing. I think there's not much that I say that I feel like I have to directly like shield her from. I guess that's not true, actually. That's not true, because there's like depraved shit that I say sometimes, or like or like expressing like vulnerable nature in a way that's like very honest. Right. You know what I mean? Like in some ways that like would be more difficult to say to just you sitting here, you know what I mean? Yeah, absolutely. But I can say it in a song, you know what I mean? Like that if I were to say what I'm saying in this piece of that I've written, you'd be like, oh, I mean, it's bugged out. Like,
Yeah, maybe you're going through something.
Yeah, you gotta check it. Yeah. So maybe I actually do feel the same way. Thank God I don't think she's picking up. She's not quick enough to like get every word. But but honestly, maybe you are correct that there's some things that I will feel once you, because your son's a little bit older than my daughter. How old is your son now?
He's 8.
He's 8. That's full soaking everything.
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 There's nothing misses him.
What's the first thing that he like soaked up that you were like, absolutely not?
Absolutely not would probably be just the, when it comes to music, honestly, there was nothing that I had to, absolutely not. I think he actually tried to lean more into what I was into, where I seen him asking me like, oh, put on Twins by Big Pun. And I'm in my mind, I'm like, how do you know that? You know what I mean? So for me, it's like, I'm not gonna stop anything. Like, I don't care what Pun says, like what curse word, whatever. I'm like, this is what he's asking for, you know what I mean? Even sometimes I try to meet him in the middle and play like just newer things and just see how he responds to it, because I don't want him to be like this performative kid that like likes just 90s shit, but like he likes what he likes, you know what I'm saying? So he likes Michael Jackson, he likes other things, you know what I mean? But as far as music's concerned, I've never had to have any type of like advisory towards.
That's what's up.
Yeah, but with now, maybe YouTube, that's different. Like, like I'll just hear in the background the things that he's watching and the way they're talking on that, and I'm like, you gotta change that. Like, we're not doing that right now, especially not in front of me.
Yeah.
You know what kids do that I think is pretty funny, man, not for nothing, that I'll definitely, I wouldn't say warn you about, but I'm sure in the future you might see it happen. My son likes to try to get away with saying shit. Like, so he'll plant a seed. Well, like instead of saying what the heck, he'll be like, what the hell? You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, what the hell turns into damn. Damn might turn into ass, might turn into shit. And all of a sudden now he thinks it's cool to curse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So as soon as he tries, like just a little bit of it, I'm like, we don't talk to each other like that. So I try to stop him immediately, like, you know what I mean? But they're very slick. You know what I mean?
My daughter's just starting that. She'll be like, she'll like hear Asha say like, oh shit, and like Asha be like, that's mommy's word, and she'll be like, can I say it?
Yeah.
Can I say it? And you'll be like, yeah, you can say it once. She'll be like, can I say it again? But definitely already off rip, just the taboos.
Yeah.
Is there anything that maybe you didn't say before that you're interested in saying now?
I think now I've just tried to be a little it's not what I'm saying, I think it's more or less how I'm saying it. In
what way?
Like before him, I'm impatient. I'm still a little impatient, you know what I mean? But I'll say shit in a way that's like, I really don't care how it lands, you know what I mean? I'm just gonna say it.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. I'll pay the price socially after it's said, like I'll get the bill. But it's funny because now that I see the effect I have on him and the way I deliver things or the way I've been finding myself careful on how I say things, you know what I mean? So I'll say the same things, you know what I'm saying? I'll tell them the way it is, how it is, but I gotta say it slowly and calmly.
Of course, but also in your lyrics, I mean.
Oh, and
has it unlocked a new side of Stark? You know what I mean? This other side. No, for real.
Yeah, not at all.
Dang.
The funny part is
you make me feel soft now.
No, but that's the thing. That's what I'm avoiding. You know what I mean? Like I always try to keep the spirit of the person that I was when I started this, and it's like I didn't come into this. Maybe I didn't come into this as a parent. And I might be leaving the game as a parent, but Starker is the same person. You know what I'm saying? This is a timeless thing. So like, I don't want the things that happen in my life to affect the art and what I'm trying to represent. Because what I'm trying to represent, it has its sense of like, there's some albums that like I introduced my son to. You know what I'm saying? Like he's on the album. Yeah. He's on the ad-libs and he has drops. Yeah. But I'm very much into like not doing that. Like I don't want to stop anything.
You don't want to be like Starker is now family man rapper.
No way. I'm not compromising that. You know what I'm saying? That shit for me is I'm unapologetically expressing myself as the artist that I was before I had a child. And it's not that I'm saying irresponsible things, it's that's my language. You know what I mean? Like that's what I use.
No, because also I think beyond just being a lyricist, you're part of the culture in more ways than just that. Obviously, like, not to be but like tenants and shit, you know what I mean? Even to the clothes, you know what I mean? How tapped in you are on like archival clothes and stuff like that. It feels as though the message that you are giving with your spirit is also bigger than Starker, that you're like representing this like timeless culture that the entire world wants to replicate and have for their own. and it's just you.
All right, no, I appreciate it. I'm very much just trying to carry on a tradition. You know, there's a pocket of music that I fell in love with, and I feel like there's more of it to be made. You know, like the job is not done. So, and I don't think it's ever going to be done as long as you have people that are interested in expressing themselves in that manner. So that's just my, you know what I'm saying, that's my weapon of choice is traditional hip hop. You know what I mean? But I see other artists find themselves in other genres or other pockets.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
But I think a lot of people don't understand how deep, like, the not to be like science, but like, but how deep it goes. Deep, like before bro was rapping with Pun, he was cracked. You know what I mean? Like it's funny that you brought up Big Pun too, because it makes me so sad that Joe is now on Ozempic, because I feel like those photos of him and Pun when they like both look like final boss video game characters.
Big burly dudes.
Dude, they're like the perfect shape, yo.
Tell me, that's what I mean. So you see that the way you see like certain rappers like change and certain rappers don't. You know what I mean? Like there's like Raekwon to me is like, he's like this timeless person. Like he continues to be himself no matter what. And like, that's what I want the music to sound like always. Cause Raekwon's also like that too. I don't know how many kids Raekwon has. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. I just know he's been up to the same shit since I started listening to him. And I love that. You know what I mean? Like I love that. I don't want to say that people could grow, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to say you can't grow as an artist, but at the end of the day, this form of art that I've chosen is something that to me is maybe it's just a little more private, you know what I mean? Like maybe my having a kid has nothing to do with that, you know what I mean? Like to me those are two different conversations.
Absolutely.
And we're having them right now, but as far as the music is concerned, I don't think maybe it expresses so much fatherhood. Yeah,
has your day changed?
I mean, the day changes, well, of course I gotta keep the baby, and he's a part of the schedule, you know what I mean? But he's, like for instance, he's there. Yeah. He's there for the process. Right? He's right there. Yeah. He's seen me record.
In the studio?
Yeah. He's been there.
So what's that? So he can't go to the show, but he go to the studio?
He goes to the studio.
That seems like just the same thing,
no? You know what it is that when it comes down to the show, I have so much more to worry about. You know what I mean? And I don't think I have the support system that I would need in order to have him comfortable. You know, it's just me. You know, I know my friends don't have kids. Right. You know, they have him. You know, my son's the closest thing to my friends.
The gang got a baby.
We all got a bit, so. But you know, I don't think that anything changed since he's came into this world up to this point as far as the way I go about making my music.
Facts, because he dedicated to the singular cause, which I appreciate. I love that about you. And the track that you came in and did on Corpus 2 was so sick. I remember when I showed you that sample, you're like, okay, yeah, we can do that one. That shit was, I love that. And how do you feel like, if fatherhood has like left you as an artist like unchanged, couldn't you like because I could describe it, and I feel like I am a little bit, but how would like you describe like what Stark has to say?
Well, for the most part, I just need to communicate whatever's on my mind at that moment. You know what I mean? So whether it's something the message is never really like something that I have been working towards. The message is always just me having something to say at the moment. So as long as I could say what I want to say and say what I have to say, I'll be all right. And listening to my music, I could almost hear like in certain pockets of time, like how I was feeling at those exact moments, because I was expressing exactly how I was feeling at that moment. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like I'm trying to put away my feelings because we got a song to do. The song was that. That was the feelings were being thrown on the, Jackson Pollock on the canvas. Like you could hear it, So, and I think that's the part of being vulnerable in the music that people actually like about me. You know what I mean? Is that there's a certain level of emotion that I'm not afraid to show. Yeah,
it's immediate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very immediate.
Yeah.
Yeah. When the first record that I heard of yours, you like show, it's like an archival like shoot, like where you're like showing like some shoes or something, and it's like the running.
Oh yeah, Spirit On.
Oh yeah, Spirit On. Yeah. Crazy record. So
thank you.
So if like kids outside of New York or maybe they're not, maybe they're hip, but I feel like it would be difficult if you didn't grow up around dudes wearing like stolen polo. You know what I mean? Like how do you understand what you're laying down for them? You know what I mean? Do you try to straddle that, or is that a non sequitur?
I mean, it's one of those things where if I keep myself true to what I'm doing, kids these days don't necessarily know what they like, but they pick up on certain things on the internet and whatnot. So I know that like there's a lot of people that do what I do, but they may do it in a different way that might not be appealing to a younger person. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I try to keep I keep the shit with hook flair. You know what I'm saying? So I'll do it in a way that I want a kid to pick up on what I'm doing, and hopefully like they are inspired to do it too, whether it is making music or wearing their jacket a certain type of way or whatever the case may be. I'm not trying to put myself in a position where a kid can't relate to me. You know what I mean? So for all that it's worth, I just want to maintain a relatability with the younger generation without being, under their influence.
Right.
I got to stay above it.
You
know, 'cause there's some people that don't know how to do that.
Yeah. No, that's ridiculous. Because I think also there's a sense of secrecy about your music that I really like, and I think that's also a part of like underground culture and like graffiti shit, which is like if you can read it, it's for you, and if you can't, fuck off. You know what I mean?
1000%.
Like there's a part that should be unrelatable, and that's like what you like about it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. It's a measurement. I use it as, like the way I used to go to school, and it's like I'm not trying to put people on to my favorite artist at the time, but if you know him, and then that says a lot about you. You know what I mean? So I try to be like that for another person, where they wear me on their sleeve, and it's like, if you know about Starker, it's like, wow, we could be friends with each other, because it says a lot about you. You know what I mean? I want to be like that. I don't want to be this low-hanging fruit of a fucking artist.
So who are those artists that like if another kid at school was like, yeah, I fuck with that, you'd be like, all right, cool.
Off the rip, probably like I would have to say, Wu-Tang, but when we get intricate. So it's like, oh, you like Wu-Tang, but like, oh, you like Killer Army. Yeah. Oh, you like Killer Sin. Oh, you like, you know what I'm saying? Like now we're getting into it, and then it's like, oh, you listen to Sound Bombing too, by Raucous Records. Oh, you like MF Doom and MF Grimm and all these, Cold Vein and just all this shit that's like, this is when D4L was out. Fucking Laffy Taffy and shit. I'm going to school with a SanDisk, MP3, and I have all these old songs I downloaded from fucking LimeWire that my cousin in Florida showed me how to do that. You know what I mean? And then like, so I'm separated right there, where it's like everybody's listening to what they listen to on the radio, ringtones, this, that, and third, and I got this one thing that separates me from the rest of the room, and it's music. You know what I mean? And I'm glad. I like to think that my music does the same for other people. Where it's like I don't know what people are listening to, but having me in their catalog or their playlist separates them from everybody else in the room. Because you know what I mean?
I love that. It's almost like there's an organized anti-socialness about it.
Right.
This very smart person once told me that in every poem is a secret.
Right.
You know what I mean? Whereas like a pop song, you want to communicate every single thing so that the young person listening to it, or the dude in Ibiza in Romania can also understand it.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that when you deal with poetry, there has to be a shroud, a shadow from the rest of the world. Right. You know what I mean? Where someone can either like find something new or find like solace from other things. Like I don't like Laffy Taffy, you know what I mean?
1000%.
I'm trying to keep this other shit in my ear.
1000%.
It's funny, when I feel like I didn't even realize it, but like the first time I went to like Philly, when I was like mad little, I went to Philly to graffiti with the homies, and they didn't listen to Big L.
Right.
And I was like, what? Yeah, like I thought, I didn't know that Big L was an underground rapper until like a couple of years ago, and people were like, that's an underground legend. I'm like, to who? But like growing up, I feel like I only listened to New York rap. I only listen to New York music. Even hardcore really only listen to New York music.
Right.
And it's funny because all underground really means like a lot of folks who have what people would consider like success started as underground folks, but all that means is that there was a scene around them. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It wasn't just like it wasn't immediate. You know what I mean? But I think you want to be part of somebody's antisocial behavior,
right?
Which is cool, you know what I mean? Because if they have no one to do, they're just antisocial, like incel shit, you know what I mean? But I also like the idea that that you have a responsibility, that it's like you have to say it because somebody else might not say it. It's like you might not be said.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you don't say it.
Right.
And that's a real difference, I think, between like what a lot of people think about music, is that like it has to be said. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like sometimes I feel like you can feel like music is like very like meaningless and helpless. You know what I mean? As like people like struggle and stuff like that. Right. But it is invigorating to myself to be like, what is the thing that I need to say that nobody else can say? Right. You know what I mean? And that's not to be like nobody else could do it like me. Everybody could do it one way that nobody else could do.
Right.
I think that's what a lot of kids don't understand. Is like they're like, oh, like I like that style. Yeah. I'm gonna do that, or I'm gonna dress just like this because that's what they do, and I think that's cool. Right. And that is cool. It's cool to be influenced by things, but everybody has a freaked out thing that only they can do. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it might be like, it might be the pen and it might be a power drill, you know what I mean? But I really appreciate that idea that if you don't find what that is, it might never happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Someone might never do it exactly like how you were even just dreaming about it being done, even if you couldn't get anywhere close to like being in a studio doing that, you know what I mean? But even just dreaming like that is really, I think that's also what makes me from like wanting to kill myself, you know what I mean? Is that there's like work to do that's actually like dope and enriching for our lives to do it.
If you don't do it, who's gonna do it?
Yeah.
You know, it's like you walk away from it, that's it. It's abandoned. You know what I mean? Like nobody can do it like you. That's why you gotta say what's on your mind.
Yeah. Yeah,
you know, so.
Yeah, that has to be the mission. That has to be the mission for music. Otherwise, we're just,
Everything you could try to say the coolest shit in the world. You could just say what's on your mind. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I just try to do. I just try to say what's on my mind.
I like that. I don't want to clink glass because not liquor, but you know what I mean?
I'm just happy to be here, bro.
Yo.
I don't know what the tradition is, but...
Low key, bro. You got any weed I can roll up?
My car.
Yo, okay.